Oh, we're so glad you're with us today to meet Paul Reiser. He is one of those guys that can do it all, right? He's an actor, comedian, writer, and musician. Did you know that he even composed the theme song to Mad About You? I bet that brings back memories. Now, despite his long list of on-screen credits, Reiser says his favorite thing to do is stand-up comedy. And that's what brings him here to Seattle next week. But first, I had the chance to chat with him about what he's been up to. Well, Paul, we love your character on the Kominsky Method, but it's good to see you, as your face. I mean, kudos to the makeup artist, but I have to ask, I wonder, is that what people think you actually look like now? Do they reach out to you and say these things?
So I had a lot of friends who were calling and saying, what has happened? Other friends who didn't even have the nerve to call me, they would call other friends and say, what happened? And he just let himself go. But the good thing is that now when I take all that makeup off, my normal default level of deterioration looks incredibly, good. By contrast, he's only 15.
Great.
Yes, he's only 15 pounds overweight, not 40, sure.
How long did that makeup take?
It takes a while. It's like 2 hours every morning. And the first time it happened, I had never done this kind of prosthetic kind of makeup. Yeah. And I would just go sort of zone out and go to sleep in the makeup chair. 2 hours later, wake up and see the ball and just go, it's my father. I have turned into my father.
Kominsky Method is a great show, but we also love seeing you on Stranger Things. One of the most popular shows right now, and you're no stranger to hit TV shows. How does network TV compare to the whole streaming experience? And do you have a preference? And I guess kind of what is the difference between, the Mad About You and then this day and age?
Well, when you're making them, there's really no difference. You're making the best show you can. And whether you're going to work and it's a movie or it's going to be shown on streaming, and now people are watching it all over the place anyway. But the big advantage of this streaming age that we're in is that stuff is archived and it's there. So it's not so much a matter of, it was a hit and, the numbers fell in 1 week, so they're pulling it off the air the second week. It's like, right. You can watch it. The other nice thing is they seem to be smaller. They're all shorter seasons. So doing 8 episodes of a comedy instead of 24 is easier. Yeah.
I read a headline the other day, a little while ago, it said...
Not true. Whatever they said, it's not true.
Well, you're going to want to refute this. It says Paul Reiser is having a career resurgence. Does it bug you that the entertainment industry can be fickle or what's your secret in sticking with it?
Well, it's funny. It's not, in my case, it's kind of true because I did step off the radar for a while. When Mad About You was over, which was 1999, before you were born. And, And I was just kind of ready to take a break. And we had just had a second child and we had a new home and I was happy to be home and I was writing and I was working. So I really wasn't out there. And then it was about 10 years before I started to go out and do stand-up again. Suddenly, totally independently, things were happening. So suddenly Stranger Things called. And then a few years later, Kominsky Method. It's like, I know it's not related to the stand-up, but I'm going to pretend it is. But it's funny because that's always been my true love is the stand-up. When I started, and most of my comedian friends are the same way. When we started, we just wanted to be comedians, and I've been really lucky that these movies and wonderful opportunities. But to get out there and do stand-up is really for me, it's the most fun of all the things I get to do.
And you're on tour now.
I'm doing a gentle tour. It's like I was never, even when I was young and single, I was never like pack a bag and go on the road for 3 months. I'll go a Friday and Saturday and come back in Seattle, be in Seattle for one night. So if there are any questions, what's really been fun lately is I'll do towards the end of the show, open it up, do a Q&A. And I always tell them, if you have a question, ask me now, because I don't want to come back next week.
Can't let you go without mentioning the loss of Bob Saget. I know in the comedy world, it was really, really hard. Did you know him well? Did you work together? How's the comedy world?
I did know Bob pretty well. It's it's an interesting thing. All comics, when we started together, there's a bond that we had throughout. And so Bob and I started the same time in the same clubs, and we both had TV shows at the same time. I hadn't seen him for years. And then I did see him last summer. We got together a bunch of times. And it was interesting and all the more heartbreaking to see how much he was loving, just as I am, how much he was loving being back. And the night before he passed, he had tweeted something. He said, you know, it's like being in my 20s again. I went, that's how I feel. There aren't a lot of things that you can do in your 60s that feel like they did in your 20s, but stand-up is one. And, you know, he was a really, really deadly funny guy and sweet. And all the accolades that you've been reading are true. He was really thoughtful, sweet, loving guy that you didn't always see that because his comedy was so out there. But he was a really, really good guy, and yeah, he is missed. He will.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, for your personal experience, and he is missed by all of the public as well.
He is indeed.
We cannot wait, though, to come see you come to town. Thank you for coming to Seattle, even if it's for one night only.
I'm looking forward, and we'll see you there next week at the beautiful Neptune Theater.
And if you go, make sure you send us pictures.